Hello and welcome, everyone, to our 13th episode of Awakening to Ascension podcast. I'll be your host today, Alex Nelson. I'm here with Janae and Marlene. Today's topic is trusting your intuition. Now, this one's a little bit tricky as well because our intuition is like our inner guidance, right? It's our inner compass, but that can easily get obscured based off of what experiences and what programming we've had. So if you go in wanting to trust somebody and you give that person your trust, then they betray your trust, then you will automatically associate several different parts of that situation with distrust. Whether if it was a man, you might start to just distrust men in general. If it has to do around money, you're going to distrust anyone that's asking you for money. And it's not your fault. This is just a natural process of how the brain works and how it works to protect you in the future. But intuition, I'm curious to see what Janae has to say about this.
Wow, intuition is a good one for me because I have been living with my intuition leading for the past conscious 7 years, more so 7 years. But I just wanted to add, just with regards to the gut. It's the centric nervous system. So it's got over 100 million neurons, okay? And it produces 95% of the serotonin inside of your body. Now, serotonin is that happy hormone. So if you think of it, you know that saying that it's the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And it's that emotion, that moody, when you get hangry and you're like, feed me, because you're feeling so like angry. So you put food in your tummy and you automatically feel your mood adjust. So with regards to intuition being your gut feeling, you must remember that it is connected. Everything is so connected. So it's connected to your heart, which is connected to your mind. So, with regards to intuition, sometimes it's that gut feeling, which you all understand. When you feel like something just doesn't feel right, you have this tense contraction in your gut and you just don't know why you don't feel so good. That is your intuition. So that gut feeling is your intuition. And at time we don't follow. You don't want me to go to that place. I'll be fine. And then you go to that place. Oh, is my signal terrible?
Okay.
Is it better?
Oh,
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm going to turn on. Ah,
Marlene, what did you have to say?
okay. So for me, intuition can be like a magical gift, or you can actually
yeah,
see it as your
I'm
subconscious
just
patterning.
quickly swapping.
Okay. So it's a subconscious patterning recognition. And for me, if I think about what it feels like for me to listen to my intuition, a lot of the time, a lot of the time, the intuition is like a whisper. So it's much softer. It's much softer than the voice of fear. The voice of fear is loud and it's kind of frantic. And the voice of fear asks things like, what if? And it puts you into future. But intuition, on the other hand, whispers a little bit more, and it says things in calmer ways, and it makes you feel a lot more neutral compared to when you're actually going into fear. And it'll ask you things like, and say things like, this is good. So it keeps you in the present rather than taking you out and putting you into a state of craziness where you're asking all of these things and being frenetic. Um, I'm going to give it back to Janae because I think she's back with us.
And chatting. I didn't even realize that the signal had gone. So I'm not even sure what was heard. I don't know what you guys get up to before I froze.
You froze quite early on.
Did I? So should I start again?
Um, yeah, you can.
I was speaking just about the serotonin hormone that gets released in your gut
That
and
we heard.
just a way to a man's, you heard all of that. So basically, I wanted to say, as I started earlier, with regards to how I've moved consciously with my life intuitively, is because it's also like Marlene said, your intuition is soft. It's this knowing and it's confident. And when you lead with intuition, your nervous system is also calm and regulated. And with regards to your nervous system, it is breathing. It's when you're in a state, if you had to put your hand on your chest and on your belly and breathe, where's the breath coming from? So do you feel your ribs and your chest expand? Where you're feeling, because then you understand where you're leading from. So if you're feeling that you're breathing from your stomach, it's calm. You're in a calm state, which means you can trust the decision. So if you're uncertain, if you are trying to make a decision with something, then sit and breathe, and it's called belly breath. So you actually breathe with your belly. You push your hand away from you and then pull it back into you and do 3 calm belly breaths. And that will allow you to make a decision based from your gut, which is your inner knowing, that intuition that you have. Yes, Marlene.
So I'll just add to that. What I like to do is I like to also do a body scan. And if I do a body scan, I actually feel in my body where there is tightness, or otherwise, if it was like in my chest, then I know it's like more fear based. And if it is easier in my solar plexus, then I know that it's more of an intuitive feeling. So by scanning your body and actually getting into the present moment of your physicality, that will also, as you have mentioned about the breathing, bring us into a different state of being. So it makes you a little more conscious as well about reading your body and your intuitive knowing through how you actually feeling in that very moment. Alex.
Yeah, that's a good thing that you brought up. I can actually get a lot of use out of that. How you mentioned that fear is much louder, and it convolutes the intuition. And I realized that when you're feeling afraid of something, that's not intuition, right? So in doing the body scan is a great suggestion. So many times where I'm thinking, is this my intuition? Oh no, I don't know if it's intuition or like this is really bad that's gonna happen. Realizing that what the feeling is that's coming over you while you're listening to your guidance, like your inner guidance, does it make you feel afraid? If you bring yourself back to the present moment, you realize that like everything's okay, you're not in trouble, nothing bad's gonna happen. And being able to sit with that with a calm nervous system is a great way to differentiate the fear between intuition? Janae?
I'd like to just add something. You know, the gut, it's your center. So it's the center of your body. And that is also known as your solar plexus. It's the chakra. And basically, what you need to understand is like anything, you wouldn't go to the gym and just do one bicep curl and be like, oh, jeepers, check this muscle. No, you're not going to see any difference. You are going to have to do a few reps of bicep curls, and then you're going to have to consistently go to the gym and do those bicep curls, increase the reps, and then you'll slowly start to see your muscular definition start changing. And it's the same with your gut. It's your intuition. You need to train it. It's not something that most people would feel very naturally. So, what you could do to train this intuitiveness inside of you is ask small questions where it will start giving you little nudges. Okay. So, it could be something as small as this I learned from Marlene is if you want to have this strawberry and you ask, is this strawberry going to be good for me? Should I eat this strawberry? And you sit and you think, okay, what am I feeling? What is my gut telling me? And sit and wait for the answer to come. And if the answer doesn't come, don't get upset, then try it again another day. But it's about repetition and building the stamina and the musculature of that gut, which is your intuition. Yes, Marlene.
Okay, so other things that you can do to actually practice that muscle, because absolutely it's a muscle, and the more repetitive you do these things, the more intuitive you become. And on top of it, you actually learn to trust your intuition so much more when you actually repetitively use it. So if there's two of you, for example, you can sit together and you can play a game, and the one person can say, okay, I'm going to think of a number. Now, you tell me what number I'm thinking of. So you can play numbers, you can play with colors, you can play with names, you can play with fruit. All those little things are fun things for our brains to actually engage in. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you're actually using your intuition. If you're standing in a building and there's lifts, you can say to yourself, okay, which lift is going to be the first one down? Okay. And you can actually start to notice your progress as you play these games more and more. On that topic, I'd also say that to use a journal and to actually journal on your intuition and how you are actually making progress and what you have thought about, and that it was the real and true intuitive knowing, it gives you more confidence to actually be more intuitive and quietly listen to the whispers rather than getting overwhelmed and going into the fear of, no, I don't know this. I don't know what this means. Just sit, breathe, do that belly breathing, and just use that muscle. The more you use it, the quicker it's going to develop. Janae.
So I also just wanted to add with your game playing, it's if you are also in a library or in a grocery shop store and you're not sure which book to choose, which juice you want to have, you ask, okay, which one's popping out at me more? And you will actually clearly see one, there will be one of the items that draws your eye straight to it, and that is definitely the answer. It's the same as a menu when you're ordering food at a restaurant. And it's always your first option. That first option is because your intuition, your gut was like, I want that. So it's doing those little things and doing them more often, and you're going to see just how amazing leading your life with intuition can be quite serendipitous.
So in order
Emotional.
so in order to grow your intuition muscle, you need to trust it, right? Trust that first instinct, trust the first thing you think. If you second guess yourself, like if you ever had one of those moments where you just knew you should have made this certain decision and you went against your intuition and then something bad happened and you're just like, why did I not listen to myself? Like it's trusting your intuition and it can be difficult at times, but it gets easier, as Marlene was saying, the more you practice it. And I think that is a wonderful game to play. I don't know if it might also play off some telekinesis training. That seems kind of cool, but I don't know if they're related. But yeah, that sounds like a great way to develop these skills.
So I'd also like to just say with the gut, and if you hold your gut, right? A lot of the times I ask questions. So I would stand for you guys, but it would be a little bit awkward now. But you stand with your feet hip width distance apart. You relax your legs so they're not fully stretched. There's a little slight bend in the knees. And you put your hand on your belly, on your solar plexus, and you close your eyes and you ask whatever you need to ask, whatever you need clarity on, whatever you need guidance on. And for me, my body moves forward if the answer is yes, and it will move backwards if the answer is no. And you can ask the answer more than you can ask the answer. You can ask the question more than once to see if the answer is truly what your gut is trying to tell you. So that's also a really, really great exercise to also practice.
And to end off, I'd like to say that, intuition is like this steady flicker of a flame. The more you use your insight, that tiny little flame grows into a steady big flame. So it grows in stature. And so does your intuition when you give it the opportunity and you listen and you go quiet. Go within rather than going outside of yourself.
Beautiful closing. Thank you, Marlene. That is all the time we have for today. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like our content. Join our community if you'd like some awakened souls to learn and grow with. I'll put the link in the description below. And if you have any comments or any suggestions on ways to develop your intuition, drop that in the comments. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.